Monster Jam fans, it is officially time for the International Series to put down its event for the season. We are here in El Sadar Stadium in Pamplona, Spain, with 8 of the best, and everything is on the line because the overall event champion at the end of this event will be receiving a bid for the Monster Jam World Finals main field. Let's take a look at that lineup. Making her BeamNG Monster Jam debut is Geneva Keller, driving the Thunder Rorus. We have Abe Galvan driving the Monster Mutt, coming out here for his stadium debut. Chelsea Van Cleve in the Sparkle Smash, looking to burn it down. Joe Dennis in Zombie, let him cook. He's ready to go down here in Spain. Michael Vaughters Jr. in Megalodon with that Feld ride, of course. Brandon Arthur in the Earthshaker, big up-and-coming name in the sport. The veteran Charlie Pauken in the Gravedigger, looking to become a champion once again. And Peter Nyman in El Toro Loco, a driver you'll only find here in Europe. Now, it's time to get started with the first competition of the night. That will be JCB Racing, and here's that bracket. So, that first matchup of the night will be Monster Mutt taking on Megalodon. We'll move into El Toro Loco and Sparkle Smash. Then we'll have Charlie Pauken on Geneva Keller, and finally, Joe Dennis on Brandon Arthur. Well, no more waiting. We're going to get right into the action tonight with this stacked lineup of drivers. That first matchup, Mike Vaughters and Abe Galvan. Let's see who can pull away with it. Stage ready at the line, and they go racing. Right off the bat, looks like they're pretty even so far. Wow, more speed for Vaughters in the turn, but Abe takes it cleaner, and Abe with the lead over the veteran. Looks like Vaughters is going to take that turn a little bit sharper. That's going to give him a big edge right now. More speed in the turn, and it will be the Megalodon. Mike Vaughters Jr. taking home that first win in the competition. Abe Galvan, great effort, but not quite going to be able to get it done. Moving into that second race of the night, it's Chelsea Van Cleve taking on Peter Nyman. Like mentioned, Peter Nyman, you'll only find him on the international tour. Let's see if he can garner some hype in this race. You know, he's got to represent himself, and one of the few shows he gets to do on the circuit. So far, he's doing a great job. Chelsea Van Cleve falling behind, and that turn is now expanding Peter Nyman's lead. Coming around that final bend, he has way more speed than Chelsea Van Cleve. He's going to take that win by about 3 truck lengths, and he will now move on to the second round of racing. That next pairing right here, we got a veteran and a rookie, Charlie Pauken and Geneva Keller. One of them has been driving the longest, one of them is the newest to the sport. So let's see who can make a name for themselves. First turn, it's neck and neck. Geneva Keller keeping up with the veteran. Second turn, still really close, but Charlie Pauken with a lot more momentum. Oh, but he's going to go over in the turn. That is a huge deal. Geneva Keller takes advantage of that accident, and she gets the win over Charlie Pauken. What an upset here in round 1. On that note, we only got one race left to go here. It's Brandon Arthur taking on Joe Dennis, 2 of the biggest rising stars in Monster Jam right now. First turn, it's pretty close. Brandon Arthur makes it to the racing lane first. That gives him a pretty good lead here right off the bat. Big acceleration down the straightaway. Wow, Joe Dennis nowhere to be found. Brandon Arthur is just too fast. He is going to cross that line before Joe Dennis even hits the ramp. Huge win for Brandon Arthur, as of course, he is hunting for that main field spot at the BeamNG World Finals. On that note, we're now going to be moving into the semifinals here in racing. Some interesting conversations. First up, we got a lot of talent in that first race. Vaughters and Nyman, both drivers who will be able to win this competition on any given day. On the other side of the bracket, though, Brandon Arthur's super talented and Geneva Keller's still pretty new. It's going to be interesting. Like mentioned here, we're going to get into that next race. It's Mike Vaughters Jr. taking on Peter Nyman, El Toro Loco. This is going to be an interesting race. Both these drivers have a pretty good reputation here in Monster Jam. They both get hiked up in that first turn. Nyman with a big mistake. He's out of his lane. Oh, but Vaughters goes over. So another huge storyline here as another driver goes over. Peter Nyman getting hiked up, but he holds onto it, onto the wheelie, and he still gets the win. Mike Vodder's nowhere to be found. What a chaotic race. Peter Nyman, Sweden's own, going on to the final round of racing. And of course, that other matchup here, Brandon Arthur, Geneva Keller, an interesting pair. You know, Brandon Arthur already has a huge array of wins in Monster Jam. Geneva Keller, not yet. She's still really new, but she did just take down the veteran Charlie Falcon. Let's see what she can do here. Pretty even coming into that turn, but Brandon Arthur is going to capitalize, and he's going to make it to that last turn much sooner than Geneva Keller could. She is all over the place coming onto that last jump. Brandon Arthur, welcome to the racing finals. He has taken down the rookie in what was another interesting race. So as mentioned there, we are moving into the final round. It's Peter Nyman in the El Toro Loco taking on Brandon Arthur in the Earthshaker. Neither of these drivers have competed in the Monster Jam World Finals before, and right now they are putting themselves in the runnings for an invite. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do here. They're staged, they're ready to go at the line, and they go racing. These two have proven to be very fast tonight. Wow, Brandon Arthur goes super wide in the turn. He has opened that door wide for Peter Nyman, and he is all over the place. Super wide in the turn again. Rare mistakes for Brandon Arthur, but Peter Nyman goes over. He won't save it. He's out of the race. Brandon Arthur can coast to the finish line. What a racing competition we had today, and that final round living up to the chaos as the only driver to not finish his pass would be in the racing finals, and Brandon Arthur runs away with it. So the first 8 points of the night going to Brandon Arthur in the Earthshaker. Pretty interesting there. Now fans, don't go anywhere. We have more competitions coming up, and right after this short break will be the two-wheel skills challenge. So remember fans, don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. Well, fans, we now return to the action with the two-wheel skills competition. All 8 of these drivers ready to go. The order in this competition will be based on how they placed in the last competition. So Abe Galvan, Monster Mutt, kicking things off. He's still really new to this sport, so I'm interested to see what he can put down here. He goes for the front end popper. He nails it. Moonwalks it. That's what we're looking for. Oh! One wheel pirouette with the save. What a move for Abe Galvan, a guy who has only done a couple dozen shows, if even. He just showed out like he's been doing this his whole life. That was absolutely unbelievable, the amount of talent it takes to pull off a move like that. How does he follow it up for that second move? Let's take a look and see here. He's backing things up here. He's getting staged, ready to go. Maybe he's eyeing that step-up ramp, a huge sky wheelie for the Monster Mutt. As that run comes to an end. What a run for Abe Galvan and the Monster Mutt. Taking a look back here at those highlights. Look at the balance, the precision, and then that ragged edge on the front end. Absolutely beautiful work from the dog pound, and then of course following it up with that sky wheelie. Let's take a look at those scores, and it's going to be an 8.107 for the Monster Mutt. Great score to kick off the competition. That next competitor out there on the track, it's Joe Dennis, and the zombie looks like he might be setting up for a tombstone here. Joe Dennis, one of those guys you always got to have in the conversation. I mean, he has not driven in very many shows, yet he has the talent of a true veteran performer. It's honestly really impressive every time he gets out there on the track, as he is still setting up for that first move. This is always a tricky one to set up for, you know. You gotta be just perfect on your setup or you'll end up failing a move, maybe even crashing into the dumpsters. Obviously, a lot of things you don't want to happen. So Joe Dennis making sure this is perfectly set up. Pulling forward. This might be the attempt here. Let's see those zombie arms. Backing it up. There we go. Joe Dennis gets started, and look at the precision, the accuracy. This takes an insane amount of talent. Doing the handstand. Take a look at that. I mean, it doesn't get much more perfect. That is a textbook nose wheelie into the moonwalk, and the truck pops back up into a save. What a move there for Joe Dennis and the Zombie. A true display of talent on that first hit. He's got one more to go. Like I said, Joe Dennis, still really young into his career, and the things he can do with that little seat time are truly impressive. He's really one to look out for on the circuit. Eyeing that second move. Looks like he might be trying to get on those front two BKTs again. Here he goes. Oh, and he can't quite get it on the second attempt. Let's hear it for Joe Dennis and the Zombie. Two good hits right there. Let's take a look at that replay. You see right here, off that tombstone, slamming it into reverse. This is the moment to look out for. The truck pops back up onto those front two tires, and he gets a huge save out of the moment right there. And then he follows it up with a stoppie attempt. Can't quite get the duration he was looking for. Still a nice verticality, and that scores a 7.392, enough for second place. That next driver on the track, another rising star like Joe Dennis. This is Chelsea Van Cleven, the Sparkle Smash. She has put in a lot of work over the last couple of years to make a name for herself. Still has not been able to get any huge wins here in the BeamNG circuit, but maybe today could change that. You never know. It's all going to start here with this run. Looks like she's getting up on that turn pod, eyeing a technical move, and she's on those front two BKT tires. Beautiful balance, great precision. She's walking it up the ramp and down the ramp. That is a move that takes a lot of talent. Tries to throw it into reverse one more time, can't quite keep it alive. Still a great first hit there for Chelsea Van Cleve and the Sparkle Smash. She's got one more to go. Coming here onto the near side of the track. Looks like she's eyeing another nose wheelie. This one starts a little bit cleaner, but she's out of control. Sets it down. She hit the gas. It's the Sparkle Smash. Chelsea Van Cleve, 2 successful attempts on the competition. Taking a look back there at the highlights in that run, that first big moment. She becomes the first driver to walk it up the ramp and back down, setting down that first move with a lot of talent right there. Second move gets a little chaotic. And that score for the Sparkle Smash, a 7.915, putting her in second place so far. Coming up next, here's someone to look out for, the veteran with 30 years plus behind the wheel. This is Charlie Pauken and the Gravedigger. Let's see what he can do tonight as he's eyeing that first move. This is one of those drivers, one of the few that could do any move you ask him to in this competition. The side tires, the front tires, the back tires. He can truly do it all. He's eyeing that first move, hitting the jammer, and he goes for the slap wheelie tail dragger. And he walks it all the way across the floor. He is still going. He took it all the way to the tunnel. I think that was 10-15 seconds right there. Absolutely unreal. Charlie Pauken, that is a textbook wheelie. You can't get more vertical than that. All the way on the wheelie bar. Drags it across the floor. Absolutely beautiful work, and he's still got one more move to go. He's getting set up with that ramp. Let's see what he can do. He's on the side tires, going for the first bicycle. He walked it sideways on the sidewalls. I've never seen that. That truck drifted 3 or 4 feet completely at a 90-degree angle. That was unbelievable. Charlie Pauken in the Gravedigger. Let's roll the highlights. You look at that first attempt right there. I mean, the perfect setup for a wheelie. Watch this right here. All the way on the rear tires right there. The wheelie bar is just pulling across the whole floor. There's no more perfect of a wheelie than that. That is some veteran talent right there with a classic move. But this is the one I want to highlight. He goes for the bicycle. Watch this right here. The truck just drifts on the sides. I've never seen that. 8.635. That is your new leader. Coming up next, it's the rookie. Please welcome Geneva Keller and the Thunder Roarers. Now, she's coming up here right now because she actually beat that previous competitor, Charlie Pauken, in racing. There's something pretty interesting there. Now the stakes are high for her. She's looking to earn some more valuable points. She's getting this truck turned around. Let's see what she goes for here. Stranded in the middle of the track. She's eyeing the racing lane. It's a big sky wheelie onto the tailgate. Beautiful first hit for the Thunder Roarers. It's a textbook wheelie. She's got one more move left. Taking it wide on the outside of the track here. Maybe she's going for a cross thread hit. This could be interesting. What will she go for? Backing things up. I think she's ready to go on this move. Full speed. Huge wheelie. Oh, she goes past vertical. Straight onto the lid. There's no saving that. Tough break for the Thunder Roarers. Geneva Keller laying down a couple old school moves. Take a look at that first hit. That was some good air right there. That was definitely the move of the night for her so far. Taking a look at that second one, unfortunately here, right there, that truck is just out of position where it is not coming back. That score of 5.116, currently enough for 5th place. Now hitting the track, it's Europe's own Peter Nyman and the El Toro Loco coming out of Sweden here to Spain. Let's see what he can do. Oh, he's going for the BMX ramp. First driver of the night to touch that obstacle. Well, Abe Galvan hit the step up, but looks like he's going to be the first one to go for a popper on it. He gets it, now going on that nose wheelie. And he's going all the way across the floor. Great display of talent for Peter Nyman. And the El Toro Loco takes it all the way to the backflip ramp. Now he throws it in reverse. He's walking this all the way across the floor. That was a very good attempt there for Peter Nyman. And the El Toro Loco, he took it all the way to one end, all the way to the other end. That is a true display of skill. He still has another move to go. And he's coming to our side of town. Let's see what he goes for. He eyes that ramp, the lip of the ramp. He's getting set up and he's going. Another great balancing act here. Look at the precision. Not letting anything stop him. He takes it all the way to the end of the track once again. Combos it in reverse. And he pulls off the combination successfully. Look at that. Walks it all the way down. Peter Nyman and the El Toro Loco. What a move. So recapping those highlights, that first move, I mean, it was all about the balance. Look at that. That truck is completely level all the way across that move as he sets it down. But that second one is the one to look out for as he moves it into a moonwalk. He goes all the way back. Right there. Just perfectly hits the brakes for the combination. It doesn't stop there. He walks this wheelie down the face of the ramp. That is some skill. It's a 9.095. Your new leader tonight, Peter Nyman and the El Toro Loco. Coming up next here in the competition, it's Mike Vaughters Jr. in the Megalodon. He had a pretty solid night so far coming out of racing. Definitely one to look out for in this event. Let's see if he can get some of that same luck here in the two-wheel skills competition. Looks like he's going to go for a move we've only seen once so far. Probably eyeing a bicycle. Yes, that is what he's going to go for here. We saw one of these for Charlie Park and he scored really high. That was a nice move. Okay, that's your first hit right there. So if you guys didn't catch that, as the truck started to come to the end of the move, he started to near that obstacle and needed to stop. He hit the brakes, turned the wheels a little bit, and actually got it onto a stop. He set it down pretty quickly after, but it's still a new move we haven't seen yet. Something to keep in mind here, putting him on the board. Coming in here for that second attempt, looked like it's going to be another bicycle. Keeping it low to the ground. There's a good stop. Oh, the ramp is in the way. He's spinning. Can he get this back? Oh my gosh, side to side. What a way to go out for the Megalodon. I mean, that was quite the roll right there. He went left to right, all the way back around. Ultimately, does end it up on the lid, though. Let's take a look at the scores and highlights there for the Megalodon. So again, we reflect on this first hit right here. That's a really good angle for that bicycle. Looking at a nice 45 degrees. There's a lot you can do with that. Right there, you see it start to tip up, turns the wheel a little bit, slams on the brakes. That allows the truck to get pushed up onto the front tires. Just not quite enough balance, and it tips over to the side. Does end up on all fours, though. That means he can put down a second attempt. This one even crazier than the first. You see right there, the problem is the bicycle didn't get high enough up. So when he tried to get it onto the front end, the angle was so off, the truck just rolled forward. With the ramp in the way, it rolled it over. And that score is going to be an 8.716. Currently enough for second place. And that final driver coming up here in this second competition. This is Brandon Arthur in the Earthshaker. Brandon is coming hot off of a racing win. That's a lot of points to his name to kick off this event. And remember, this show is for everything. Whoever walks away with the overall event win gets that invite to the World Finals. So the stakes are high for Brandon Arthur. And I'm sure he will be bringing his A game in this competition. So take a look at this first move here. Very nice balance. Walking it back up that obstacle. That is very impressive. He has gone all the way over that ramp. Not something you see too often. This is a super impressive move right now. And keeping it going here. No way he walks it all the way back up the ramp. Look at that. He's almost made it to the top. I mean, this is the most impressive balance you can really ask for. Let's see this right here. Oh, and there we go. He has now reached the top of the ramp. He is still going. Pops it forward. Unbelievable attempt right there. He is walking that wheelie all the way across the floor. That's probably the most impressive move we've seen today. I mean, the balance from walking all the way back up the ramp, and the balance from walking it down the ramp, and then the extra skill it takes to be able to pop it forward like that. Really impressive stuff for Brandon Arthur. He's still got another move to go. He's definitely putting himself on the board right now. He's probably guaranteed himself a very high placement. Now he's got to find a way to make it first place. Another very impressive attempt here. I mean, that is perfect balance. Taking it all the way towards the end of the track. He's starting to lose it here. Hits the ramp in reverse, and that is going to bring a very impressive run from Brandon Arthur to an end. Let's roll those highlights here. That first one to highlight, of course, taking it all the way down this ramp. Not something you see too often. You only really see that move from the best of the best, and Brandon Arthur trying to put himself on that list. And we're going to jump forward in this run a little bit to this moment right here. Pops it up here. You see, doesn't quite get it. He actually waits to hit the ground and almost does a slap wheelie. So it was a little bit of a nose pick, but he even got a little creative to make it all happen, and just dragging the rear of that truck all the way across the track. And he wasn't even done there. That was only one attempt. Keeps it going with this second move. walks it all the way to the edge of the track, and brings it all the way back to that obstacle that he used. That scores an 8.883, only enough for second place, which means Peter Nyman is the winner of this competition. This is the move right here that seals the deal for Peter Nyman. He has added 8 points to his day, which means there's a tie for that overall lead right now between Brandon Arthur and Peter Nyman, each with 15 points. That means it's all going to come down to this last competition, freestyle, to become a little bit of a tiebreaker. Maybe Mikey Vaughters could come in as a dark horse. There's no way to tell until that competition happens. So that's right, fans, don't go anywhere. We got more coming up right after this short break as we determine the series champion and world finals invite for the International Series in 2026. Well, it is time to return to the action, and we kick off Monster Jam Freestyle with Abe Galvan in the Monster Mud. He is just going to get started right away. 2 minutes on the clock for each of these competitors. They got to make it count. This is a really big floor. Abe Galvan hasn't done a freestyle on a floor of this size before, so this is going to be quite a big beast for him to tackle. I'm interested to see how he goes about this. So far, couple nice hits. He's adding on a third now. See those Monster Mutt ears flapping through the air. Nice sky wheelie right there. Very vertical. It's going to take moments like that to get some good scores for this run. Of course, got to keep in mind, wow factor is one of the biggest things that fans look for. So far, this has been pretty neat. I mean, neat as in he hasn't gotten too dicey yet. He's kept it nice and on all fours. Taking it back to that racing lane. Now on the other side with another really good wheelie. So going a little old school with this freestyle run today. That's what you like to see so far. Again, the flow has been really good. He's kept it upright the whole run. That body, despite being upright, is starting to come off. I'm sure that's partly from the wow factors we saw in the two-wheel competition. Nice wheelie. So he's pushing with enough momentum right now to be able to get a couple little slap wheelies out of it. And those are the little moments that will add a lot of depth to that freestyle run. Give it some wow factors. Takes it onto that pod right there. Oh, almost gets a little technical. Sets it back down. Running down to that final portion of the run. Only, a little less than 30 seconds left, but he is making it count with a huge sky wheelie. I mean, that was straight vertical. This is what we want to see. This is very impressive stuff for someone making their stadium debut. Keeping it going. Oh, got a little dicey there. He keeps it on all fours. He's got time for one more move. Yes, he does. Hard side slap. That definitely broke the truck. But the time has expired. Anyway, let's hear it for Abe Galvan in the Monster Mud. Let's take a look back at some of these highlights here. That's that first wheelie that I had mentioned. Of course, getting straight vertical. It does not get much more impressive than that. Onto those rear tires. Second move, he somehow tops that with this massive wheelie right here. That's got to be a good 20 feet in the air, maybe even 30. Lands straight on those rear tires. That's going to get him a little bit of a save. And of course, he's going to bring it down to that final move right here that ended out the run with some breakage. Let's take a look at the scores. And that score for the Monster Mud, 6.501, setting the bar here in the freestyle competition. Another driver hitting the track that is still a rookie here in this sport. She's only got about a year behind the wheel of a Monster Jam truck. This is Geneva Keller and the Thunder Roarus. She has impressed us quite a bit so far tonight. Of course, a big wow factor in the two-wheel skills competition, the one to highlight as her 2 minutes begin with a nice little bit of air. So, again, with these first couple competitors, you really just got to see how they're tackling this track, because it's like studying someone who's never done something before. I mean, Geneva Keller, she's done maybe 5 stadium shows in the International Series, something close to that. But even then, that's not a lot of seat time. This is a track style she hasn't really dealt with before. It's really interesting to see how they go about doing this. These first couple, that's a nice leap right there. Clears that obstacle very nicely. Straight vertical What's left of that truck is definitely holding on. Just barely. She can barely even see out of the front of that truck. Seeing her slow down right there. I think it's because she can't see where she's going with that hood in the way. She's making her way around the track regardless here. Nice. Lines up for that ramp. Really square. Staying nice and up on all four tires during this run. I'll say it's not quite as exciting as Abe Galvan's run so far, but it's having some nice flow here. Nice wheelie right there. Just got to see that big moment for the Thunder Roars come out here at some point. Takes it all the way to the corner for some donuts. That's something we haven't seen yet. Nice donuts. Those are pretty solid too, getting good speed on that. Something a lot of drivers can do. You know, if you haven't had a ton of seat time, go for a good donut. Oh, she goes back for that cross thread that flipped her over earlier. This time it stays upright. That was a good wheelie too. I mean, like I said with a couple of the hits from the last run, straight vertical. I think she's going to go for another one. Nice air. A little bit of hang time. And that time for the Thunder Roars has about expired. Looks like she's going to throw it into one more donut. Not the best donut I've ever seen, but you know what? It's bringing this run to an end, putting a conclusion on it, some punctuation, and that's going to do it for Geneva Keller and the Thunder Roars. So let's take a look back here at some of the highlights of that run. Of course, there's that wheelie I mentioned. Takes it right up to the edge of that ramp. Tips the truck to the side. Good wow moment right there. Then here's the biggest leap of that run, clearing the step up. Nice little bit of a wheelie once again. And of course, the best moment of that run would have to be these donuts here. They were pretty solid, honestly. Had some good speed going. Now, of course, like I mentioned, she's only done a few freestyle runs on a floor of this size before. So for her first one on this track style, it isn't all that bad, but the score is only going to be a 5.041, enough for second place. Coming up next here in the competition, it's Joe Dennis and the Zombie. Joe Dennis, a guy that I think we are all very excited whenever he is behind the wheel. He always knows how to get the fans on their feet, and he is starting to run off with a nice send right there. 2 minutes starts now. So he got a little lost for a second looking for that next hit, but he quickly recovers from that. And right off the bat, ooh, there's a good move. A little bit of a combination right there. Right off the bat, I think we're seeing the biggest air of the entire night so far. There's a little bit of a wheelie as well. Looks like he might have been going for a slap wheelie the way he hit the gas coming off that move. Or I guess the way he hit the methanol coming off that move. However you want to say it. So far, he's doing pretty well out here. Definitely someone to look out for in this sport as he continues getting better. I mean, this is some good air right there. There's some hang time. Truck lands very nicely as well. He's getting this turned back around now. And I just got to say, this momentum, this air, all of it's coming together very nicely for Joe Dennis and the Zombie. Going into that jammer, hits it a little crooked. Looks like he's been trying to get some good wheelies in this run, and the truck's just had some other plans. Regardless, though, he's keeping the action up. He's going all the way to the end of the track for this move. I expect that to go a little higher, but you know what? It's keeping the flow going. He's got a lot of momentum right now. Taking it around. He's going wide with this one. There's a good send. Throws it to the outside of the track. That's going to help him sling into this next move. Maybe the... No, I thought he might go for a backflip there. He's not going to. He's keeping the speed up, though. That is a good send. That's probably the highest air we've seen in this show so far. Truck takes it very nicely. Almost tips over. But he's keeping it alive here. Wow, another huge jump for the Zombie. That might have been even bigger than the last. He's only got about 10 seconds left on the clock, though. What else can he put in this run? What a send! That is the biggest air of the night. Oh, he's going over. And it lands back on all four tires. You can't get any closer to a wall than that. What a run for Joe Dennis in the Zombie. That might have been his first stadium freestyle ever here on the BeamNG circuit. It was a very good one at that. And taking a look back at this run, I mean, there was just so many moments to look out for. This first send was super good one. And very, very good send right there. There you see it get a little dicey, but expert truck control is able to hold it down. This is another move I really like. Coming out from the start of that run. Right here. Truck bounces into that ramp. Nice combination. Puts him straight vertical. Big highlight for that run, but this is the one I think we're all looking for. He gets a good 30 feet up there in the air. Back lands hard, breaks the sway bars, but look at this, trying to save it. Instead, he gets a huge endo. That's going to be an 8.311. Your new leader is Joe Dennis and the Zombie. Coming up next here in the competition, this is Chelsea Van Cleve. And the Sparkle Smash driver, who also does not have a ton of seat time here on the BeamNG circuit, but she's going to make it count, I'm sure. Wow, nice move kicking things off. That was a good wheelie right there. Good send, you know. Gotta start the run off strong. Definitely was a good way to do that. So, again, these first few competitors are the ones that are more rising stars at this point in time, and sometimes that makes them more fun to watch. You know, drivers with less seat time are going to run into more new things. Maybe they'll get a little bit innovative. They'll invent the next new move. You never know. Chelsea Van Cleve so far is just laying down a solid freestyle. Nothing too crazy, but the flow's there, momentum's there, and especially right there, you can see the air is there as well. Oh, okay, that was a close one. Keeps it upright. That's what you want to see. As long as that truck is sunny side up, she should be good here. Huge wheelie. Oh, no. Oh, but it saves it. Okay, so like I was saying, you want that truck to be upright. Right after that, she definitely is not upright, but still a very cool moment. That's a good wow factor right there. Almost mirrors what Joe Dennis had just done. Oh no, that's not what you want to see. That truck is sideways. She tries to save it. But that is gone. There's no coming back from that. Almost got a corkscrew out there. That was a cool little bit of a crash. Now, she did leave quite a bit of the time on the clock, so let's keep that in mind here. But let's look at these wow moments. I mean, that was a good send, perfect landing. I mean, that was, can't ask for much better than that, honestly. Second move right here. This is the moment to look out for. Huge wheelie, maybe the best wheelie of the whole night, but it's a little too much. Truck loses it. Tire's not even on the ground, and it rolls all the way forward. Huge wow moment right there for Chelsea Van Cleve. And then, of course, this last move doesn't quite hit it square, and it kicks it sideways. Keep in mind, a lot of time not filled there, so that time's going to be a 7.483. Currently enough for second place. Coming up next here, a veteran driver and one with a lot of experience. Also a second-generation driver who has definitely been living up to the family legacy. This is Mike Vaughters Jr. in the Megalodon, and he gets started right away with a nice send. As you can see, we do switch sides on the stadium here for the next half of freestyle. Change up the perspective a little bit. Good air right there for Mike Vaughters Jr. and brings it to that jammer. Good momentum right there. I mean, the flow is all there. And that is good air as well. So, right off the bat, the Megalodon putting on a bit of a clinic. Oh, and a stoppie. This is a great way to kick off the run. We're only about 20 seconds in here, actually coming up on 30 seconds. But we've already seen so much good action. That was a weird hit. Truck's holding up, though. That's all that really matters. As long as that truck's in one piece, Mike Vaughters Jr. is not the type to quit. More good air. So this is a run to look out for. Mike Vaughters definitely still in the running to get that invite to the World Finals. So he's going to be driving on his A game, I'm sure. And a good send right there. Follows it up with another good hit. He's making use of that whole floor. He's hit a lot of ramps. He's drifted out to every corner. And he's gotten a lot of good hang time. I mean, he's taken the space around and the space in the air as well. Oh, it looks like it might be time for the first Morgan & Morgan backflip of the night. Perfect landing and a moonwalk. So that is another huge moment here in this run. I mean, he is just collecting these wow moments left and right. That might have been even bigger than Joe Dennis's send. And he's not even out of time yet. Megalodon still going. That is another huge send. And this truck is holding up super well. Oh, man, looks like we're going to see a cross thread right here. Oh! That puts the shark straight on its fins. Wow, what a way to end out the run for the Megalodon. Mike Waters Jr., like I've been saying all event long, he's one of those guys to really look out for to potentially get into the World Finals, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. So looking back at these highlights here, we see that first backflip of the day. You can't ask for a better landing than that. And he takes advantage of it, throw it into a combination with that moonwalk, walks it all the way to the end of the track, follows that move up with the biggest air of the entire night, and great momentum as well. Watch how quickly he drives away from this move, already heading over for that next hit. And then, of course, the final hit right here as time expires. Corkscrews the truck straight onto the lid. It's an 8.710. Your new leader in freestyle is Mikey Waters in Megalodon. Coming up next in the competition, we said Mikey Waters was a veteran, but this is the one to look out for. This is a driver with over 30 years behind the wheel. It's Charlie Pauken and the Gravedigger. And he's getting this run kicked off with a great wheelie. We have seen no shortage of good wheelies from Charlie Pauken so far today. Immediately getting some huge hang time. I mean, this run is one to look out for sure. Oh! Oh no, wait! He's still with it! 3 rotations! What a save! That is insane. I thought that run was over from the start. He pulls off what might have just been save of the year. Throws it into a technical move. Saves it again. What has gotten into the Digger camp today? This is unbelievable. Huge error once again. I mean, I don't even know what to say about this run. He has put everything into it already, and we're not even halfway in. Another huge send. He is making use of the full 2 minutes with this run. Cross thread. Wow. Another cross thread. And this truck is holding up so well. Can he get a third save? Oh, man. This is unbelievable. Huge air. Charlie Pauken is looking for that World Finals invite. I don't know if he can still get it, but he's going to try. This is crazy. Lining up for the Morgan & Morgan backflip. Nails it. Beautiful landing for the Gravedigger. What else can he do? 1-2 shift into the ramp. He's getting a little crooked right here. It's not stopping him. Nothing is slowing him down. He's going wide. All the way to the end of the track. Oh man, another crazy cross thread in the run. Onto the obstacle. Oh, can he get another? Oh, not this time. What an unreal freestyle run for Charlie Pauken and the Gravedigger. Where do you even begin? The whole thing was a highlight reel. I mean, let's just take a look back at this. What might have been save of the year. So he gets huge error. Keep in mind, this is only the second hit of the run. Wheelie, gets crossed up. Jammer kicks him sideways. Saves it. Rebound pushes him back up. One tire, can't get it. Onto the other side. Somehow the truck gets back over to the sidewalls. He capitalizes on that. 2 full rotations on the sidewalls. Unbelievable stuff. Of course, then later on in that run here, follows up with a big cross thread. Doesn't just cross thread once. He does it twice with this awkward send. And this is going to give us that second huge shave. Watch this right here. Rebound. Straight onto the bicycle. Catches it onto the brakes. Right there. Starts the spin. There's 1 revolution. And there's 2 revolutions. Another huge shave. And if that wasn't enough, how about this to end out the run? Huge side slap right here. Rebound sends it into that ramp. Gotta be careful. This is the end of the track. Tries to save it. The truck just keeps going and he's all out of room. It's a 9.719. Put him at the top. That is your new leader. And coming up next here in freestyle, your second to last competitor, this is Brandon Arthur and the Earthshaker. Brandon Arthur, of course, that driver looking for that overall event championship tonight. It's between him and Peter Nyman, really, at this point in time. So one freestyle win could be all it will take for Brandon Arthur to get a World Finals invite. But it's going to be really difficult to follow up that run from Charlie Pauken. Brandon Arthur, though, not afraid to get things started there with a nice technical combination. Look at that. Moonwalks it into a wheelie to kick off the run. That's something we haven't seen so far, so that's cool. Changing it up a little bit. Sometimes that's a good way to get the fans on your side. Brandon Arthur, a driver who is mostly known for his technical driving. He's always been a really good racer ever since his first year in Monster Jam. But aside from that, it's really his technical driving. Freestyle is not exactly what he's known for. However, I wouldn't count him out. You never know. Dark horses always have existed in Monster Jam. Brandon Arthur very well could be one of those. So far, no shortage of flow. I think the flow's been great. Momentum's been great. This move could be great. One wheel save. That's going to put him at a really good spot right now. He's already got a wow moment on the board, and he's only about halfway into this run. That gives him 60 more seconds to just go crazy. Now that this run's already going well, that is a huge shen. Maybe the biggest error of the night. I don't know. It's hard to tell. We've seen a lot of good sends, and Brandon Arthur is living up to the hype right now. Look at that move. Always on the sidewalls. Bicycle. Cartwheel. Barrel roll. What was that? I mean, what do you call that? He just put every wow factor in the book into one move. Now he's lined up for the backflip. Nails it. A little sideways, but the truck stays upright. Like I said, if that truck's on all fours, he's going to keep on going. And this run is just incredible so far. Combination into that sky wheelie right there is coming to the end of time. Maybe got about 20 seconds on the clock. Got time for one more move here, maybe. Huge shen connects it to that ramp. Wheelie. What a combination. And that brings the run to a close. That was unreal. So many wow moments put into one freestyle. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, we gotta just take a look at what we just saw. I mean, if there was any run that had to follow up Charlie Pauken's freestyle, that was definitely the one to do it. Look at this first hit. A similar predicament to Charlie Pauken, but instead of going forward, Brandon Arthur gets sent upward. The truck twists and turns in all ways. Look at that. One tire saves it. One wheel saves are always the coolest. But you know what's cooler than a save? Let's take a look at this. First off, maybe the biggest send of the night. Huge air. Look at this though. Two wheels, walking it, almost like a crab walk. Stoppy, cartwheel, barrel roll. I mean, that's one of the craziest gymnastic combinations I've ever seen a monster truck do. And then, if that's not enough, well, you know, I was just saying he's a very technical driver. How about this right here? Onto the wheelie, hits the brakes, onto the front end. Unbelievable. Moonwalks it. 9.315. So close to enough for that top spot. That'll put Brandon Arthur in second place. Your final driver hitting the track. It's the International Series' own Peter Nyman in the El Toro Loco. And well, he's looking to make his United States Monster Jam debut at the World Finals, but it's all going to come down to this freestyle run right here. If Peter Nyman can score higher than Brandon Arthur with this freestyle, he's going to the Monster Jam World Finals. If he cannot, Brandon Arthur's going to the Monster Jam World Finals. The stakes are super high with this freestyle run. Peter Nyman certainly is understanding that as he's going huge to kick off this freestyle. So he's getting this turn back around here. I mean, right off the bat, I don't even know what to say. The flow and momentum is all there, but there's so much for him to live up to with those past two runs. He needs every wow moment in the book if he wants to get that win. And I don't know if that's possible. I mean, he's had good air, but he's got to do something to pass Brandon Arthur. That's what we're going to have to look out for here. It's a good send, a little bit of a side slap again, though. We're seeing a lot of good air and not a lot of big moments. And it looks like he's just stuck on that same side of the track. He's been hitting the same couple of obstacles back and forth, back and forth. He's going to have to change it up here sooner or later. See, he's doing that again. You gotta mix it up a little bit. I mean, good air. We've seen a lot of good flow, but you want to be able to use a little bit more than just 2 or 3 obstacles. Here's a new obstacle. Looks like he's going for the Morgan and Morgan backflip ramp. Goes up, nails it. He gets a little bit of a moonwalk. I don't even know if that was intentional, but he sure did get it. He's gonna go for that next move. Huge air off the step up. Biggest wheelie of the day. Past vertical. And now he's just living on those rear tires. Oh no, the truck's tipping too far back. No contact on the ground. He cannot save it. What a run for Peter Nyman. Didn't have as many saves as we saw from others, but he had the air, the wow factor, and the crash madness to end it. So we're taking a look back at this run. Again, this is the run to determine everything. Who's going to the World Finals? Peter Nyman in the El Toro Loco. Good hang time. You see, of course, that Morgan and Morgan backflip. Look at this. Beautiful landing. Even gets enough of a pop to pull out a little bit of a moonwalk. And ends it off with one of the coolest moves of the entire event. Look at that sky wheel. He goes past vertical. Boom. I think the fuel tank might have exploded right there. And right here, he just lives on those rear tires, blows out the smoke. Unfortunately, goes a little too far back. Let's take a look at that score. This is the score to determine it all. That is an 8.772, which means that this year's International Series champion getting the invite to the second ever BeamNG Monster Jam World Finals is Brandon Arthur in the Earthshaker. He just had the night of his life. I mean, he has really not driven much at all on the BeamNG circuit, but over the course of one event proves that he deserves to be in the big show. He grabbed 22 out of a possible 24 points in this event, and ultimately that would be enough to get it done. Look at this hit right here as well. Very well done. Brandon Arthur, super impressive stuff. He is going to the BeamNG Monster Jam World Finals. On that note, that is going to wrap up the 2026 BeamNG Monster Jam International Series. Thank you to everyone who watched this show and who watched all the other BeamNG Monster Jam events throughout the year. This is the final event of the BeamNG Monster Jam point season, first quarter. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you to everyone who came out to all the different shows, and any of you who watched to this point in the video. Hey, if you've watched this far, comment what your favorite part of the show was. If you're watching this part of this video, comment down below what your favorite wow moment was. We got all the best rolling at you right now here in this end show highlight reel. I hope you all had a good time. This has been a super fun year, but on that note, it's about time to head into the BeamNG Monster Jam World Finals. Get ready. I believe we're going to be having that taking place next week. Of course, check the community tab for the post. That is when all updates will be given out. Right now, the plan is for the BeamNG Monster Jam World Finals to occur next week. So, again, be keeping a lookout for lineup changes, for dates, for schedule, anything like that, because we got a lot of news coming your way. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time with some more Monster Jam action. That was your 2026 BeamNG Monster Jam International Series event, and Brandon Arthur is your champion.